Good evening, folks. Red County Blue Nation, West Cliff, Colorado, great states of Americans. Stephen Rorick, Michael Boring at the console, James McMahon riding shotgun over here. Jimmy, how you doing this evening, buddy?
We're doing good. Got through another day. It's definitely starting to turn fall.
It's
Starting to get a little nippy out there.
getting a little nippy, but yet the sun still.
Boy, the sun will beat you to death.
It's still just hotter than a son of a gun when you're right in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the greenhouse a little bit today, and it got pretty warm in there. We had it opened up, but it was still nice.
Man, did you see that moon last night?
Oh, my. Beautiful.
Boy, when that thing first come up, I'm like,
Oh.
it's like 3 times the size of
Yeah.
normal.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Little
Yep,
harvest
creation is an awesome thing. It's good to take a minute and appreciate it. Look at the moon, look at the stars. It's a big deal.
moon. Speaking of, that's a little off topic, I guess, but that's one thing that always fascinated me about the moon is how come every other planetary body in this solar system spins, but our moon doesn't. And that's why it sounds like it could be a spaceship.
Yeah, they got her creeping up on us.
It's just like you can only ever see one side. The rest of every other planetary body that we can see spins. That's what keeps it in motion. It's weird. I just thought I'd throw that out there for all you folks that think there's weird stuff going on. But
Well, that moon does its job, you know?
yeah, it's the tide and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
It has a lot to do with the plants and animals and the energy on the planet. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's really hard to go hunting when it's full moon.
Yeah.
You almost can't hunt where.
No, it's difficult
Yeah,
when
they-
you see your shadow.
Well, they graze at night.
Yep.
When they can,
They
if it's
see.
real dark, they got to make sure and come out during the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'd kind of catch up with what Charlie had talked about, Mr. Ellison. I didn't realize this, but this is a vote no on ballot questions to triple the lodging tax in Custer County. Travelers spent $4.5 million at motels, RVs, and other short-term rentals in 2024.
In Custer County?
In Custer County. $4.5 million? Are you kidding me? I had no idea. I didn't have any idea that was that.
Well, how many motels we got here? I mean, is that including them too, right?
Yeah, that'd be all the motels.
Yeah, so what do we got?
Well, there ain't all that many.
I'm thinking Antlers and
So if you
got
start out there, you got
the brick one there?
yeah, whatever, the Lamp Lodge or can't remember what the one out on the highway.
Lamplighter or something?
Yeah, then you come up through town, you got the old Chesley Village. Of course, you got Ravens Lodging that's got some of the short-term rentals. Antlers, West Cliff Inn.
And is that like 10, 20, 30, 40? What are we thinking rooms?
Man, last time when I was talking, it's been a while back, but I thought there was only like 50 rooms available.
So you got there's probably at least 8. That's a pretty big building over there. I
Yeah,
did some plumbing over there years ago. I don't remember how big it is, but it's pretty good size.
Well, and there's a lot of new things that have popped up since like over here at the feed store, right? They have rooms at the feed store.
There's rooms there.
So I guess there's probably more rooms than there used to be. There used to only be like 40 or 50 rooms.
I was just trying to think, if you broke it down, if there's maybe 100 rooms available. What's West Cliff Inn got?
They got quite a few rooms. I bet they got probably
30?
30 to 50. They got quite a few after they put that new addition on. And of course, time flies.
And then are we going to be counting the people that come into the camp place, the campers?
Well, they say RV.
RVs, yeah. So
So I don't know if the RV parks have to pay that. I suppose
I'm
they do.
thinking it reflects on them too. I mean, any place that somebody has enough wealth to travel and spend money, government people are trying to figure out how to tap into that, and then take that money and willy-nilly spend it on whatever. And then they don't realize that they choke the economy by doing that. But at the end of the day, people just vote no on that. They're talking about raising taxes already. Should have watched the meeting today.
Yeah, let's dig into this. I mean, just to kind of so a guy can wrap. I mean, I was like, really? No kidding. So
A lot of information in there.
$90,576 collected from the tourism board. From the same amount was paid in county sales tax, and the town and the state tacked on another 7.9%. So total taxes levied on accommodations and RV rentals are 9.9%, and they want to raise that by another 4%, 14%.
It's not. Wait a minute. You guys are making too much money. We need some of that money. I mean, it's asinine.
2024 lodging tax receipts dropped 13% from the previous year. Receipts are down another 7% over the first 8 months of 2025. Tripling the rates from 2 to 6% is likely to fuel this negative trend. Economic principles of supply and demand inform us that price increases suppresses demand. I mean, that's just the way it is. If stuff costs more, I mean, that is supply and demand. If you run out of stuff, you just charge more for it, and vice versa. If you got excess, you have to lower the price. Especially when buyers have viable alternatives. Price increase prompt travelers to search for lesser places or worse yet, a more tax-friendly destination. 14%, man, that's steep.
I'm just saying that they end up wanting to do something, but they end up actually backfires because they push people away, and then you don't even have what you had then.
No, and that's what they're talking about. So a study, and it has a little one here, but I think this is from ScienceDirect.com. A study on the impact of price on direct travel costs to destinations and traveler demographics similar to Custer County concluded that for every 1% increase, demand falls by 1.4 to 1.87. Applying just 1.5 reduction per point, a 4% increase is likely to reduce the accommodation revenue by 6%. This translates into 1.5 million less spending on indirect expenditures such as restaurants, groceries, gifts, artwork, etc., based on economic impact reports published by the Colorado Tourism Office.
Well, I mean, it's pretty simple math, but when you're the government and you're running out of money and you're trying to play God.
Families traveling from Texas, Oklahoma tend to select higher end properties and stay more nights. Anecdotal sources indicate that the state of Colorado policies are suppressing vacations to Colorado. Tripling lodging taxes on such travelers is the wrong message to send to such high-valued travelers, especially when visitor spending is already shrinking. Mm-hmm. Advocates for this Tabor-exempt tax increase point out that we locals will not be paying lodging taxes. While technically true, lodging taxes put price sensitivity pressure on accommodations or RV rental sales. Hosts report guest complaints about 10% in taxes. I'll bet they're really going to complain about 14%. 14%, that's getting up there. That is a stiff tax.
It's to me, it's already too much. We need to cut the government, not suppress the creators.
As occupancy rates fall, hosts are forced to mark down daily rates and/or cleaning fees. Discounting to boost occupancy, even at a loss, is a short-term solution. But hosts with marginal cash flows will be forced out of business if occupying rates continue to fall. This is particularly applicable to our long off-season, which travelers exhibit higher price sensitivity. Subsidizing housing and child care to benefit our local workforce may be a noble cause, but shrinking our local economy by 1.5 million is sure to reduce employee hours, pay rates, and the number of jobs. The very tax intended to help our workforce will backfire because of the economic drag of this well-intended venture.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds just like a liberal mentality.
And this is what really burns my ass. And this is why when they legalize marijuana, even though that I do cannabis related businesses, I voted no. And let me explain why. It says this is the ballot language, folks. This is what actually will be on your ballot in November. lodging tax revenue, increase tax revenue, and authorize additional allowable uses. You rotten, dirty sons of bitches. Chicken shit, no good, cross-threaded, rotten bastards, man. You want to try to pull on everybody's shirt string or heartstrings. Oh, we got to save the kids and we got to have low workforce housing, but we're going to spend the shit however we want. Right? That's the problem that I have. So listen to this language. This is what irritates me so bad.
And if you're not paying attention and looking at every word, boy, they'll run right over you.
They do, and that's the thing, that they get you with the language, but they never tell you that when everybody's talking about it the day before the election.
Same thing going on over there at that meeting with that Colorado outdoor, the West Cliff outdoor deal.
So this is the actual wording of the vote. Shall Custer County lodging tax be increased by 4%, or approximately $169,777 annually, commencing on January 1st, 2026, and by whatever additional amounts are raised annually in each subsequent year to allow a total of 6% lodging tax on the rental fee price or other consideration paid or charged for the leasing, rental, sale, or furnishing of a room or accommodation for short-term period. A period of less than 30 consecutive days in Custer County with such increased revenue will be used for housing and child care for the Custer County workforce. And shall the first year's revenues and whatever additional amounts are raised annually thereafter be collected and spent as a voter-approved revenue change, notwithstanding any limitations or conditions under Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution or any other provision of law. So basically what they're saying is that we'll just spend the damn money anyhow we want.
We're going to take it from you at gunpoint,
and
then we're going to spend it.
We're going to pull on your heartstrings and say it's all about the kids, and then we'll just spend it however we want.
Yeah, liar, liar, pants on fire.
And that's the whole thing, what they
Very deceptive.
What they done with the recreational marijuana. Oh, it's all going to go to the schools. And then right at the end, they'll say, well, hell, we'll spend it however we want.
Oh. And therein lies the problem.
So
all the politicians instead of statesmen.
I'm glad that we came up with this because I was wondering what that actual language said a couple weeks ago.
Well, I think Charlie put that all together. Charlie and maybe a couple other. Charlie Ellison, he was on here last week, wasn't he?
House Bill 25-1247, key provisions authorizing the expansion of lodging tax. The Board of County Commissioners may, by the resolution approved by a proposal for county lodging tax or to increase the rate of an existing lodging tax, thereupon such proposal for the county lodging tax or increased rate shall be referred to the registered elector of the unincorporated areas and municipalities subject to the lodging tax at a general or coordinated election.
Don't take your helmet off too soon is all I know.
I mean, and so here we are, we had that discussion with Taylor.
Well, here, and this is front page of the Sentinel, Friday, October 3rd. Custer County considered a child care desert. Oh my!
I guess I'm just old-fashioned.
Oh my!
But it's like, if you can't take care of your kids, maybe you ought to keep your knickers in your shorts.
Well, here again, we'll see this group of people that are wanting all this to happen. You'll see them start banding together, and that's the problem here, folks. We got an eye on you. The Sentinel is a pretty red paper as far as I'm concerned, for a moment. But there's things that are happening, and some of us are watching this. We're kind of got our finger on the pulse here, and going to that meeting tonight.
Well,
I got to witness the people that were there.
It's socialism at its finest, right?
It's government for the government, supported by the people.
It's a very good description of it.
And them people that were there were government people that are on the take. And that whole money grab thing that's coming through, whatever that Van Dorn group's doing, well, they're gonna try to spend that money however they can. And there again, it's got an open loop on it. Oh, we can spend it here and there.
It's like the 109th time or something, folks. Right? Once again, the division between A and B is how the money is spent. You got people that are fiduciarily conservative, responsible, going to take care of themselves, and then you got people that think that everybody ought to bear the burden for everybody else.
Yeah.
Socialism at its finest. It's disguised. It's camouflaged to the point where you think, oh, well, we got to do it for the kids. And Billy Bob Biden right here is telling you he's going to do whatever he wants.
It's pretty aggravating.
It is.
And looking at that group of people that were at that meeting tonight, just an overview in my mind told the story of what's going on. You had some people there that was like, this kind of sounds like a good thing, but really it's not. Because these people are going to mingle. They're not elected officials, for one.
They're not elected officials.
That's a big deal. There's no recourse. You know what I mean? They're not the voice of the people. This is just a group of people that say, well, we want it to be like this, and then if you don't want it like that, well, we're not even talking to you, because it's going to be like this no matter whether you like it or not, because this is the narrative. These are the questions on the survey. You already see how it's pointed. It's already pointed in that direction. And if we don't stand up and kibosh this thing pretty fast, it's going to grow some legs. It's going to get to the point where it's not going to be pretty.
And the real ornery part, my dad has been telling me that forever, and it took a good 30 years for it to sink in. I have to hand it to you, Chucky. Oh, hell, it's socialism. And I'm like, whatever. So, what, it just...
Be okay.
It didn't soak in. Yeah, I was like...
Didn't sink in.
It seems all right from where I'm at.
Well, no, and you're loving and caring, and you don't have a lot of contrast, on how socialism and Marxism and all that stuff, they sold it to the people, they got them to buy it, but then it destroyed them. I mean, look what's going on in the world today.
Because it's a proven
fact.
Venezuela,
and you got Haiti. There's places, boy, they completely went off the map.
There's no incentive. There's no incentive to excel. There's no incentive. If I'm going to get paid the same as you, why would I do anything?
So in America, your tractor breaks down, right? Man, you're hustling your ass to get that thing buckled. Man, it's raining in 2 days. We got to go.
We got hay
now.
down.
We got hay now.
If
you're in Russia, back in the Russian, communist, and my high school teachers, and junior high, told us how these governments worked, and I appreciate them people more now than ever. Old Mick Fisher, he was a Vietnam vet, but he was really a good American history teacher. And he flat out said, look, this is how this works. If you're working for the state, it really doesn't matter how much you do, or, it really doesn't matter. If your tractor breaks down, well, you just sit there. Well, tractor broke. Oh, well.
Well, you're still getting paid.
You're American over here. Boy, I'm telling you, if you don't perform, you lose.
Well, yeah, you don't.
You lose.
You don't get paid.
And it's the risk takers and the creators that these people are clinging on. I mean, the people that actually, so you take grass, you have cattle eat it, they grow, they made something, they created something. The guy that goes out and harvests timber and turned it into lumber. You created something, you made something out of nothing. You brought value that wasn't there. Most people can't get that. I mean, we are so far removed from what's profit and loss.
Well, yeah, when you're a blacktopper, born in the concrete jungle, right? It's hard to understand that.
They don't have a clue.
Well, and it's back to this 110th time, right? The fiduciarily responsible people have to take care of themselves. Everybody else wants everybody else to take care of it for them.
Well, you got too much. You need to give me some. You have too much. Oh, the government says he's got too much. I'm going to take some from him. I'm going to give it to you. That's what I'm saying. The government's trying to play God. And that's why the family's all jacked up. Too much government. I don't need you. I'll go to the government.
Well, I mean,
Used to be the family was pretty important. And the church family was very important.
back in the day, you had to take care of your own kids. There wasn't child care, right? That's what I'm saying. That whole responsibility of, like, you have kids, you have to take care of them. That's gone out the door. Now you got social services, you got child care, you got welfare, you got all this shit. There's no repercussions for having a kid that nobody wants to take care of.
Just go down and get you one of them cards. Just go get a card. Here's your card.
And people think that I'm mean, and I mean, trust me, folks, I get it both ways, right? When I see a poor little kid that's in a bad way, right? I feel bad for him, but I didn't create it. It's not my problem, and it's not my fault. That's where you have to draw the line between your heartstrings and what reality is. That's what I tried to tell them tonight at that meeting. I said, all y'all people that think you want to come in here and tell me about agricultural and about water and about heritage, there ain't none of you knows shit. You ain't from here. You don't know nothing about nothing of none of that shit.
No, but they're sure gonna. We got all the answers.
We got money. We got
money.
We got King Dick Sucker's money. Excuse my language.
King Poloffs.
King Pole Smoker. Excuse my language, folks, but I'm not too happy with. That's what this whole thing is. It's like that's that part of that breakdown of the nucleus, the nucleus family, right?
Absolutely. Government's taking its place.
Hell, two men.
And that's socialism.
Two men can have a baby.
Well, I mean, look at
yeah, not on this planet.
So the Common Core that was being taught in the school, it all rings true to that socialist. Everybody gets a trophy, and if you're making too much, you need to give it to someone else. And not by choice. Not by choice. We're going to force. The more you make, the more we're going to take, and we're going to distribute your wealth.
And the most onerous part about
it's got to come to an end soon.
The most onerous part about that, yeah, because if you look over, if you really study history and you know what it's about, it hasn't worked ever.
Never, ever, ever, ever.
I mean,
it sounds really good to the flesh. Oh, I don't have to work. I'll own nothing. I don't have to be responsible for anything. Man, holy moly. What retard in his right mind, if it's got any kind of common sense, goes, getting something for nothing's probably not a good idea, first and foremost, because most people, you can't give them something. A good person, you can't hardly give them something. They don't want it for free. A good person don't want it for free. But they've contaminated the minds of these people, and they're making it socially acceptable. The Bible's out of the school. The Bible's even, the real truth is even out of most of the churches. It's a bunch of religion. It's a bunch of hoo-ha.
Well, you talk about the pedophilia in the churches.
The whole thing is a train wreck, and we're going to need a lot more light to get this dark gone. And it's gonna be a battle. We're in it. We're right in it.
Well, and that's fortunately, that's the whole judgment day. You're gonna judge yourself, right?
Absolutely. Every day, every thought you have. We're not into that. There is no such thing as right and wrong now. It is so perverted. We've got so far away from uprightness and what's really that fits our creation.
And that's why, folks, we talk about this all the time. The most critical part is doing it for yourself, right? You ain't gonna change. What I said to them people, I had 4 or 5 people come up to me and say, "Hey, great, right? That's what we were thinking." But I bet the other 20 people on the other side of the room are thinking, "This bozo here, man, he don't know what he's talking about." And so it's an individual thing, right? Either you're going to hold the door open for the little old lady or you're not, right? It doesn't matter if you watch someone else do it. Your time will come when you have that action within your own reality and you have to perform or not.
Exactly. So this really was what I got out of that meeting tonight. And I wanted to get up and say something. My back is killing me so bad I can't even see straight. But what I wanted to say was, you got these three different areas that you want people to chime in on. The fourth area would have been, but we're going to honor the people that have been here for 100 years. We're going to listen to what they say. They have some knowledge and experience. They're not just shooting from the hip. They understand the ebb and flow of this community. They understand why the zoning was created. They understand the aquifer. They understand the cattle prices. They understand the construction goes up, construction goes down. Population goes up, population goes down. They've watched and seen it. These other people, they don't have enough information to make a good decision. They just don't. That whole thing is a waste of time. That one guy's getting paid, or his company's getting paid $25,000 for each one of them meetings.
I don't know how.
And I'm like, you know what? Well, what could we have done with $25,000 that actually, if we'd put it to use with the knowledge and experience with the old timers that are here, we'd be going already. We'd be moving.
I kind of take that with a grain of salt because, I mean, from my best analysis, they got 100,000 is their first grant, and so you're going to tell me you're going to spend the whole $100,000 trying to have 4 meetings? That don't really sound right to me. I'm not doubting whoever
Well,
said.
there's sideline meetings too, you know. I mean, and there's.
I'm just saying.
So there's a website, right?
I'm not trying to stick up for them, but I'm just saying I don't know how they could blow their whole wad on 4 meetings and now they're left with no money. That doesn't. I'm taking that one with a grain of salt.
I am too, a little bit, but it's coming from a couple good sources.
It comes from a pretty good source that supposedly came from the horse's mouth, but
it
doesn't seem to add up.
The thing is if it's not your money, hurry up and spend it before it's all gone. And if you waste it, it's okay. Matter of fact, wasting it is the name of the game.
Right.
That is the key here.
$800
You go
toilet
right
seat?
back to, are you spending it like it's yours, or are you just spending it? Hurry up and spend it before it's all gone. And that's the different mentality. When that money comes, it really needs to be treated profit and loss, like Trump's doing. He's running the country like a business. He's interceding on the behalf of the creators and the taxpayer. He's not just going, oh yeah, we'll just keep spending and spending. No, wait, time out on the field. We're gonna get this thing situated. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's a game plan. So we're not just completely always paying out all the time.
Now I mean, it's such a.
It's simple for me because I keep it simple and it's black and white. And that's the only way I can get through it.
Well, and it is, and it's like looking at one intersection of a spider web, right? You have this one intersection, but the whole damn web is so.
Right.
There's so much to it.
It's a bunch. It's a bunch.
And what made me think of that was I was listening to an interview. I can't remember the gentleman's name. Alex Jones was interviewing a pastor. Let me see if I can figure out which one it was. But they were talking about the Charlie Kirk thing. And I was listening to Iconic, one of the David Icke's boys, too, about how Charlie's wife, I mean, she's just accepted that this little kid, or whatever the kid that supposedly shot him, and that's the end of it. But if you have any idea of what's going on, you know that the facts don't add up. That is not what happened. And for her to just say, well, I'm going to take your word for it, and I forgive you for doing that, it just is awful suspicious. I mean, there's 3 or 4 foxes in the hen house here. He was betrayed on more levels than one. And I'm not saying that it was his wife by any means. I'm just saying it's awful peculiar for her not to be pissed. I mean, that's what one of the observations they were talking about is how she's already jovial and laughing. Like, it's Pretty strange.
So I'm gonna kind of maybe come from out in the woods here. Them people have been living with death threats for 5, 6 years, 7, 8 years. Man, it's probably a relief. God took him home and took him home fast. He knew he was ready to die. We knew he was going to get killed. She'd already prepared herself. Now that's just me coming to the defense of a fellow Christian person. And I'm trying to reason with it. I'm sure she's just shattered in the quietness with the kids and whatnot. I'm sure her grief has got to be immortal. I'm sure she turns around, the phone rings, and she's already thinking it's him. Or,
But that's one
she
of the...
gets up and she's got 2 cups of coffee and she's going, "Oop, I only need 1 now."
I totally agree with you, but on the flip side, it's like that's when you need to stand up the strongest, right? That's when you really need. I mean, because they were talking about all the Kennedy assassinations and all of this stuff. They're still to this day saying that we know that this is not what you guys said it was.
It's a spiritual battle, and the darkness and the powers to be, and the influence that big money has, and it grieves me that a man that was reaching the younger generation and was a threat, such a threat.
They found text messages now 2 days, 48 hours before, how a big Jewish donor pulled the money out, and he said, "I'm not going to bow down." 48 hours later, your ass is toast.
Well, no, I mean, you can look at it like that, and but if you're looking at Erica and saying, "Boy, she's man, that looks weird." That poor gal's been living with this for a while, just like the Kennedys. They knew that they were pushing the wrong buttons. They knew that they were traveling down things, just like Trump. He's sitting there going against some bad stuff, and he can get dead any minute.
It's what we talked about last week with talking about Jim Reed and what he told me.
Are you ready to die?
I am ready, because I know I'm doing the right thing, and that there's something to stand for besides just this little sack of flesh.
Absolutely. And that's what gives you a God conscience to me. When you know there's life after this, and there's going to be a day of reckoning, and it gives you a consciousness to do right. Right? I mean, isn't that kind of the mainstay of our existence?
It is.
That separates us from somebody that doesn't have that God conscience.
Well, and that's back to why do you fold? Are you scared? You're corrupt? You folded for money? I mean, that's what made a real warrior, because they were ready to die for righteousness
and didn't compromise.
No compromise. No compromises.
That's what I'm saying about some of the stuff that's going on here right now. We're involved in conversations that shouldn't even exist. These people are drawing us into conversations. And then we legitify what they're thinking and their agenda. And to me, it should have been cut down right away. It should have been recognized for what it is.
Now, this gentleman's name is Pastor Rodney Howard Brown, as the one he was talking with.
And what was he basically talking about on that? That was...
Well, they went, I mean, it was really deep, but I mean, all kinds of stuff, all through Charlie Kirk to Jack Smith. I mean, how they're not getting indicted. The indictment's there, but you got chicken shit DAs that are in between. They're saying this I think his name Tony Blair, the assistant attorney general, is like the biggest fox in the hen house right now. Right under the one that's right under Pam Bondi. He's
the yay nay man.
He's the one that's blocking all this stuff, and
right.
Evidently him and Trump's been buddies for a long time. They were talking about how he's a Democrat, but he ended up representing Trump when Trump had all these lawsuits, and now they're kind of buddies.
Boy, it's really contaminated.
Man, it is.
Because you see it clear. If what you're hearing and seeing, and then you're going, well, if he does that job and he does that, the righteousness is going to happen.
the web is so interconnected. It's this huge web.
And they've all trapped themselves and can't do the right thing. They're all trapped by their wrongdoings and their compromises.
And that's really what we're talking about. Yeah, we're over here struggling trying to make money, but at the end of the day, we're not compromised.
No.
Well, here's Charlie Kirk
Yep, Charlie Kirk
and George Gramlich.
and George Gramlich. Amen.
All the rest of our brothers that can't drink none.
Well, Pat Neverdahl,
Pat Neverdahl.
he just... We'll miss you, Patrick.
So yeah, I mean, we've had this conversation and we're back to the funnel. We're at the point of the funnel again, folks. The only solution is that you have to do it for yourself, right? You have to make these decisions real time, real place, real circumstance, right? What's happening to you is it's not the same if it's happening to someone else. It could be the same, but that doesn't mean that it is the same.
Well, the biggest thing that I have is the government trying to rule our lives. If my conviction is to help a child in need because their family, their parents maybe are going through a bad time, that's my own deal. I'm deciding to do that. But don't tell me you're going to take my money. You're just going to keep taking my money for an abortion, for child care, for low-income housing? No. Not my problem.
And then blatantly tell me that you'll spend it however you want, Billy Bob Biden.
If we need to do something, if we need to do the low-income housing thing, me being a carpenter, and there's a lot of them around here, we got everything we need here to build something. We got landowners, and we got a banker. There's no reason we can't, as individual private citizens, say, okay, there's a need in the community and we need to fill it. As responsible men of the community, that's what you do. You don't need the government to be involved.
No,
and we do it so much more efficient.
I agree, but my point to all that is at the end of the day, you can want champagne till you're blue in the face, but it doesn't mean you can afford it.
Exactly, and it wouldn't be champagne. These a low-income housing would be designed. We know you're probably going to move on. Maybe you're going to college. Maybe you're living here and working here and doing something on the internet, and you just need a 4 or 5 year stand.
And let's dig into this a little bit closer, right? So we're talking about how this relates to socialism. So basically, socialism is going to tell you that you don't have to excel, you don't have to do better, you don't have to do anything. You can just be a burden on society because people will take care of you. That's like completely counterintuitive or contradictory.
It's ass backwards.
It's contradictory to one another. Why aren't we offering some kind of incentive for them to do better instead of trying to make cheaper ass housing that nobody can afford?
So and we've talked about this too. A couple of us got together, and this has kind of been the topic. When you do find somebody, and inflation is a big deal, and young kids getting started out right now, they need a hand. They need a hand up, not a hand out. A hand up is different than a hand out. When you say, okay, we're going to do a lower interest rate for you. This is a starter home package. You know what I'm saying? And you can start here. This is a seed where you can actually realistically sink your teeth into.
Yeah, we'll maybe give you a loan for the material if you can build your own house. That sounds like a...
Well, that's what they're all about now. That's what they're saying. They want people to build their own house in this workforce housing thing. Person probably never drove a nail in their life.
I haven't heard about that. But I mean, that makes a little more sense because you're becoming...
You got some...
In theory, you're becoming more productive because we've went through this about how like when 10 people retire, only one people's coming around that can take care of these jobs.
Yeah.
Like
10 plumbers retiring and one plumber showing up.
And then they wonder, and then everybody looks around and says, well, God, he's doing so good, we better tax him out of oblivion.
There you go. And that's the irritating part. That's the part when you're a producer and a creator, you're creating something. You're either taking like the grass in the field. The mom's having a calf. You're selling the calf. You're creating something. You created something that wasn't there before. You blended it together and you created a value. So when you take all the plumbing pipes and the fittings and the drill and the bits, and you drill the holes and you install the plumbing, well, you just installed value. You just created value. And most people can never wrap their head around this. They can't conceive it. And I guess the contrast would be, what does the government do that creates profit? I don't know that they do much of anything other than take our money, and the administrative fee is just unbelievable. It's crazy. So we're creating jobs in the government where the private sector should be doing it. And I really do hope that we can get rid of property taxes completely. Someday you actually own something. You actually own it instead of renting it from the government. And we've got to look at this. We got to look at it while we got Mr. Trump in the White House, and hopefully we're going to turn Colorado red. Big Timber, YouTube. You guys need to check him out. He's on fire. He's definitely working hard with a regular job, and then he's putting a lot of time into his podcast with a lot of current issues and a lot of players that are in the state of Colorado.
So Mr. Beltry, he come into the live chat and he says, don't forget about Horn Creek and Hermit Basin. If the tax doesn't pass, they will just tack on fees just like our license plates.
Well, thanks, Greg. That's that big. I mean,
that's true, and I guess where I'm at with that is it that at least puts the ball back in the people's court so they can do whatever, right? It's like, can you do it cheaper? If not, you don't have any choice but to raise your fee, and so maybe you lose business. When you tax everybody across the line, then you take away that right for somebody to maneuver in their own. I can do it cheaper because I don't need as much. That's what Dad always told me all the time about hay, right? He's like, man, we can't. That's why he never wanted to be in a co-op. He's like, I've tried to grain co-ops before. He's like, it never worked out right because you don't need the same price out of your hay as I do, right? We have different input costs.
Needs.
Yeah, different needs.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, at least with if you have to tack on your own fee, then that's your business. But when it goes across the board, then you're at the license plate fees. Something's happened where.
Yeah, the whole deal about the government is, we need to look at it like our forefathers, and we need to look at it before world bankers kind of got a hold of everything, that it's a debt society. We need to get back to the godliness, and we need to get back to godly principles. I know a lot of people I know, they don't even realize they are godly. They don't even realize what they do is actually principles of success that's explained in the Bible. They just do it naturally because they inherited that from their grandparents and their great-grandparents. The work ethic, saving, earning, being diligent, carrying their own water. And then there's the other side of the coin. So it's education, education, education. And hopefully our school's going to be, hopefully we've got a good school board. But being proactive in your community, people, you need to stand up. If you know right from wrong, stand up. If you don't, just stay where you're at.
Well, and that's really, I mean, it's only a secret to those who don't know, right? And so that's the whole real ornery part about it is some people just don't know. And I mean, that's the whole thing about repent, right? But once you figure it out and then you still don't.
And then you don't change. You
That's
just
the difference
keep going.
between ignorance and arrogance.
There you go.
Or
And they go
innocence and ignorance,
Right,
or
but-
arrogance.
Yeah, arrogance and ignorance go hand in hand.
But innocence is if you actually don't know, if you really don't know.
Okay. Right. If you're not convicted of it, if you haven't stumbled across, oh, this ain't right.
Well, yeah, because maybe the veil of darkness is broad.
And we're all at different points in our life.
We are.
Everybody's at different points of growing up and figuring out this and that and whatnot. And that's why we need the strong men of the community to stand up and be the leaders that we need to be. That's what needs to take place. But I hope that we're doing good in the county.
Well,
And I don't know how that all's going because I haven't had time enough to be watching too much of it. But I watched a little bit of it today.
at the end of the day, if I can say one thing that changes one person's life, then I feel like I'm on the right track here, right? That's what I'm trying to do is expound my experience to maybe help somebody else down the dark hallway. That's what I was trying to tell the people at the meeting. Look, folks, just because you've got a wad of money don't mean you know what you're doing. You don't know nothing about heritage. And I don't even have that much heritage either, right? We've only been here since '57, but when I look back at it, my great granddad and them, they raised horses for the cavalry, right? So actually my heritage goes pretty. I've been in the agricultural industry for my 4 generations or 5 generations.
Yeah. Well, this is unique.
That I know of. I don't even know besides
This
that.
is an extremely unique valley because there are some people that had some forethought and they weren't greedy. They weren't all about, you know what I'm saying? They weren't all about, oh, money, development, grow, exploit, pollute. No. The gentleman that, the guys that put the zoning together was brilliant. But a lot of people come up here and they prey upon it. They're thinking, oh, this is a little bitty place. We can prey upon these people. Well, little do you know, the people that are here aren't going to just go along with it. We're going to put our foot down because we came here to enhance the place like it is. We understand the reasons behind the zoning and why this place isn't a big old vale and a Breckenridge and stupid stuff. I mean, they tried to slip the ski slope in here. Don't get me wrong.
Well, and that for me, right? I mean, that's you want to talk about torn. It's I'm almost as torn about that whole thing as I am with cops. On one hand, yes, it's great. I want the serenity protected, but on the other hand, man, it's a free country.
Absolutely.
And you were taking away freedom by putting in zoning.
Okay. Sure.
On part of it, you are, right? I mean, you're taking away somebody's right to do with what they own and what they want to do with. So, I mean, it's like, I'm torn, right? I mean, I could see both sides, and I'm just like, one thing that Chuck always said, he's like, if you don't like it, buy it. Well, I can't afford it. Well, that's nobody's fault but your own.
Well, then you got to suffer the consequences.
That's where I'm at with it.
Right.
So I mean, do I like being able to look out across the valley and not see all that stuff? I wished up there at the Racer Prairie, we had one of the Candas tried to sell that to my dad for $16,000 up there where all them houses are, and my granddad's like, no, you can never pay for that because you can't run enough cattle on it to make it work.
But you could develop it.
Well, that was back in the 50s.
You're right, but you could develop it.
Well, that'd have been a nice piece of land to have.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, hindsight's 20/20. My deal is when I first came into this valley, I was like, wow, how did they keep this so pristine? This is a pretty cool little place. It's open. And then I started figuring out how it happened and who was involved and why they did it. And That's the heritage stuff. That's the
and-
stuff that's important.
Well, and that's something that Sarah had brought up. Sarah
Oh,
Shields.
Sarah Shields is a gold. I mean, that
was-
gal, she is a wealth of information.
She was talking about how that all went down in the 90s, and that's how they developed the San Isabel Trust. And she mentioned she thought there was 80,000 acres in conservation. I can't, my little brain, knowing what I know, I can't believe that there's that many acres. The Boyer Ranch is the biggest single piece of ground in this whole county, 13,000 plus. I know that like the back of my hand, right? So to try to say that there's 80,000 acres in conserved acres, I can't see where it's at.
I mean, what's the total acreage in Custer County?
Oh,
40
Chat GPT.
46,000 or something. I don't remember. There's a bunch. I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, as small as it is, it's still a lot. That's how big this United States is. Man, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to be in the States, in God's country, if we can keep it. And it's going to take all of us. Every breath's going to count here pretty quick. Everything we do is going to matter. We're either going to keep the darkness away or it's going to keep creeping in. And by that, I just mean we need to be able to be more self-sufficient. We need to be able to get back to the plow. We need to be able to not have to compromise because someone has something on us. Whether it's our electricity, our water source, getting rid of our manure, getting rid of our toiletry stuff, all of that, we're dependent on other people. And when you're a standalone person, when you don't need anybody, you're pretty independent, and you don't have to compromise. You don't have to cow down to somebody. And that's the key. You got to be able to be free enough where you're not going to cow down. You're not going to let somebody run roughshod over you.
So there's approximately 473,600 acres.
How many?
473,600.
400, almost 500,000.
Almost 500,000 acres in Costa Rica.
Almost 500,000, and she said close to 80,000.
That's what she thought.
Is that 20%? What is that?
Let's see what this says.
That's very interesting. But there's a wealth of knowledge out there. I mean, between the Russ, the Giroux, the Shields, the Rourkes. I mean, there's a wealth of information here.
This says in Custer County there is about 32,912 acres under conservation easements.
32,000, boy, that's a bunch. That's startling to me.
Well, it is, like I said, because, I mean, when you look at the size of the Boyer, and that's the biggest piece, I mean, there must be a lot more than a guy realizes.
So here again, I mean, the provisions to keep the open space open and not develop it, individuals are personally taking that on. Why do we need this group of people coming in here telling us what's going on?
Well, and so that's another thing that goes back to Torn, right? We, as I'm basically speaking between me and Chuck Rorick, my dad, right? It is freedom. I don't have, I would never have, I don't even, it just isn't in my mind to sell what I already have.
Right.
It's my personality.
Right.
So in my opinion, part of this conservation easement deal has to do with personality.
It has to do with taxes too.
But a lot of it is personality, right? And I understand that, you know, when stuff is handed down through the generations, that's, you know, when you get to a certain personality of a certain sibling, they're like, sell it. I want the money.
Absolutely.
And that's what it really boils down to. It's
Absolutely.
the personality of it.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
that's
the
back
different
to
convictions.
education. Yeah, it's
the different
convictions.
convictions and what you carry and what you desire and what you feel is right for you. And that's the freedom. there's your freedom. But if you come to a place and the zoning's already established, or it gets established while you're here and you didn't fight it or couldn't change it, you have to submit to it. It's just the way it is. And I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't want to be part of that. No, you're in this border. There's a border here. I appreciate the people that took the time out and put the zoning together and how this county has been developed. Or not developed. There's a lot of lots that can still be built on. There's plenty.
There's a ton
There's
of lots.
a bunch.
A
They're
bunch.
everywhere.
Well, and it's like, if you really got your mind set on something or whatever, then buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't afford it. Well, that's nobody's fault but your own. You should have worked harder, got up earlier, done whatever it took to get in a position.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I mean, I get after myself all the time. I'm like, man, how'd you get yourself in this predicament? It's like, you got nobody to blame but yourself.
Absolutely. And that's the big key. That's the key, is taking its personal responsibility for the individual. The individual has to take, and if your parents raised you right, and that doesn't mean you're born with a golden spoon. You could come from a poor family with strong principles and still do okay. You can.
And that
you don't have to be rich.
Being responsible for yourself. I was talking to one of the gentlemen this evening, and he's maybe not completely off in the weeds of what we're thinking, but, you know, and I was having a discussion with him, and he's like, well, I think they could do some stuff on the Rainbow Trail. He said, that Rainbow Trail's dangerous, and people that don't understand what they're doing with the side-by-side, they're at risk. I said, well, they are at risk. But you got to be responsible for yourself. I can't be.
You got to be in charge of your own risk management.
I can't be responsible for somebody that tries to climb up on the needles.
Your risk management is your responsibility.
Just in one of these papers, they just gave search and rescue another $15,000. Like that's this whole. I guess where I'm going with this is this web. This intertying web of all of this, it's socialism, right? They're trying to condition us to, you can't watch out for yourself, we'll watch out for you.
That's right. And when you start believing a lie and you start getting engaged in that conversation that's based on a lie or a false narrative, you call it whatever you want. And we're getting involved in it right now with this outdoor deal. That thing should have been shut down, in my opinion. And we'll see how time rolls here. And therein lies the deal. You get all this money collected, and then you get an individual like Polis involved, and he's been involved in this. This goes back to 2020, 2019 or something. Or maybe it was even before that.
I think that's when they started the RPI. Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah. So, anyways, they're going to collect a bunch of funds, and then they're going to put a group of people in charge of implementing these fines and regulations.
That's a scary part there.
I'm telling you right now, that's a no-go. That's as bad as taking the sludge, taking all the PFAS, all the forever chemicals out of the shit pond up here, and going to pour it right down there where it goes right into Grape Creek. That's brilliant. That's a non-starter. That doesn't even come up for discussion. That's stupid. That's completely out of bounds. What is it? What's Custer County Outdoors or something? Wet Mountain Outdoors. Oh yeah, we had to encompass all the way.
Outdoors.
Yeah, it's a non-starter.
But it's RPI. Is the state-funded level. So this evening, I didn't realize it, but there's two. There's Colorado Outdoors, which is different. And so that might be the one that's trying to do Proposition 82.
That's what I'm concerned about.
So when I read through that, that's the most alarming thing is they're going to try to run that off of fines.
Yeah.
So if you end up, if you got a wolf that's about to eat your kid and you blast that son of a bitch, it's going to cost you $500,000. Ouch.
Here again, once you start insulating the elected officials that are supposed to help govern the voice of the people inside the Constitution, you can't get out here. Here's the Constitution. You can't get out here and start talking like this. And that's what we do. We don't confine the conversation to the Constitution or our God-given rights that the Constitution guarantees. That's the deal. We start talking outside the rules. And when you start doing that, that's a problem. But most people don't get it. They're not going to get it. They get drawn into that. Sounds good. We'll start talking about it. Oh, okay, it's okay. No, it's not. Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah,
That's where it comes from. I mean, that's the whole thing here. This stage is set. That money is set. They've already planned how they're going to try to. We don't have it, Stevie, but we were going to take it from you. We don't have it, but we want you what you have.
yeah.
No, no, that's mine, and you ain't taking it. And you're not going to do it. And until there's consequences of people that keep acting like this and going down this road, they're going to continue.
They will.
And
yeah.
we're using our First Amendment. We're using our First Amendment.
I was speaking with one of the old time ranchers over there a little bit ago. I said, after the First Amendment, we know what the second one is.
Well, and a lot of folks have about run out of patience. They're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. I think we're getting the school back where it's kind of getting where it needs to go.
Yeah, that's how I just don't know anything about the school. I'm
Well, these are the pressure points. This is where the kingdom starts. The kingdom of America.
I know.
You got to get the school.
I know it ain't good. We heard that from
Yes.
from our boy Jake Shy. He said,
Yeah.
my little 11-year-old daughter's already done with her schoolwork, and she's only been in school 1 hour
Yeah,
or 2 hours.
and already learned.
What are they doing for the other 6,
What are they
8 hours?
doing? That's
They
what
ain't
I'm
doing-
saying.
They ain't doing shit.
Our property tax, the majority of it goes to the corrupt school system. That needs to go by the wayside. It needs to go by the way. We need to reinvent ourselves completely here and get healthy, because we've got involved in things that never should have been invented. We never should have come across this.
Well, and that's what Richard Grove talks about. And I can't think of his name offhand, but he did a bunch of interviews. He was the school teacher out of New York. I might think of it here at some point, but I mean, the education system is defunct. That's where we're at because these kids.
That's how you steal the kingdom. Oops, sorry about that.
What are they learning? They're learning that if you don't like what you are, you can go in the bathroom and use a litter box because you identify as an animal.
You could be a kitty cat.
Boy,
You could be a little kitty cat.
that really makes me. I mean,
They put a cat box in the school
in the
for somebody, and they allow them to exercise that nonsense.
God, that is gross.
So here again, I don't
That's
need.
so gross.
I don't need
And then you expect the janitor to clean that up?
The whole thing is
Man. You talk about demented, twisted.
perverted.
Yeah, it's
The Bible talks about all of this. It's all explained. It's real clear to most of us. And it's supposed to happen. And it's okay. That's how I can endure it. When you see these things happen, count it all joy. It's okay. It's grievous, but at the end of the day, we read the back of the book. We know what's going to take place. It's okay. You don't have to like it. But how do you endure it and not get contaminated?
Hopefully you don't like it.
Well, no, and some people are embracing it.
Yeah, I'm like, boy.
And then
oh
the
boy.
school teacher or so, I mean, how can they put up with that? And then it's taxpayers' dollars that they're using. Don't use my money like that. That's all I'm telling you. Stop it. Stop it. A modern day Boston Tea Party is where we're heading. We're going to quit paying taxes. We're going to own our property outright. We're not going to rent it from the government with the taxation that they put on our property. This standard's getting raised. The golden era of America is coming. but it's not been spelled out real well. It's not been spelled out, and most people don't understand what's going to take place. But we as Americans need to stand up and fight for what's right. And the government overtaxing us. That's why we have so much corruption. There's too much money. They're getting too much money.
Yeah. Well, and that's back to, I mean, that's back to the tariffs, right? The Federal Reserve, the whole 9 yards. We were never meant to pay income tax. The tariffs were supposed to take care of everything. We were not supposed to get taxed.
Absolutely.
The only time we were ever supposed to get taxed is if there was a war and we paid that back. As soon as we paid that back, then we were back to, we didn't get taxed.
We didn't get no tax. Absolutely. And most of the schooling done in the churches.
Yeah, and once the globalist bankers figured out that, I mean, the Americans, man, they're that's the biggest economy.
Sheeple.
Yeah, it's the biggest
But we
economy.
are such sheeple. It's unbelievable.
That's where all the money's at. It's Americans.
Absolutely.
That's
I mean,
why,
Canada is really having a hard go. France, I don't even think they have any leader. They don't even have a government right now. I think they're kaput. I mean, there's a lot of crumbling going on around us. We need to at least get Custer County on the straight and narrow, and I'm hoping we can. But it's going to take a bunch of us standing up, saying, "No, this is what makes right. This is what makes wrong."
we got to get the accounting squared away, and in my opinion, the elephant in the room has been the whole time is the Justice Center. The Justice Center is how we're going to get people united.
Yes.
And we everything has been complicated, time consuming. There's just a lot of stuff going on. We should already kind of had our game plan, but we got a couple key players now that are willing to assist with critical information.
Yeah.
So that we can go back over and readdress this. I mean, the whole thing where, Billy Bob, he says, "Oh, it's mandated." Well, the thing is I've looked at that pretty close, and it's not mandated. What it is it's, and I was discussing that with our attorney friend, Matt Miles. I said, "Matt, in my opinion, what they're doing is monkey see, monkey do." Well, you got a new courthouse, and so we think that's the way that it needs to be. Everybody needs to follow suit, but that's not what the law says. And so monkey see, monkey do, right?
Well, and then you get some ambitious,
You get
or
somebody,
some silly commissioner that's
you
a little bit.
get somebody in there that's getting incentivized.
And when you're dealing with, and when you look at it, how the contract was designed, and then they were dealing with a convicted felon. I mean, there was no minutes of the meeting of the price discussion. There's none of that. There was no negotiations. There was no tracking of that.
Well,
Who did it? Oh, it was Ann Bartow. Oh no, it was Bill
It's
Candon. Who did? Who did it?
It is, and it's just, in my opinion, what's going on now with, we used to, it wasn't that long ago, it was only like 6-8 months ago, if you wanted something on the agenda for the Custer County Board of Commissioners, you went to the Custer County clerk and you told him, I want this on the agenda, and that's all there was to it. And they did away with that because they got tired of people trying to bulldog them and buffalo them and doing whatever, and they got tired of it. And so now what do? They make legislation within their own thing, resolutions, that you can't do that anymore, and it's bullshit. That's what's happened to us. So now you can't go to the clerk anymore. It's the clerk. She's the clerk of the county.
So just one more issue that we need to be ironing out. So you got to go to Caitlin, and I guess she's the admin person for the commissioners.
It's basically their personal secretary
So
or whatever.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it. And then you go in and you go, okay, Caitlin, I'd like to talk about the Justice Center. I'd like to talk about how the books are not being we're not getting any kind of accounting done properly yet. We'd like to talk about the budget for roads and bridges. We'd like to talk about the low-income housing. We also like to talk to you guys about this open goofy adventure you got going on here. And those are the issues that we, the people, need to go to them and say, look, what's going on? And hold them accountable with the minutes of the meeting. That's why when somebody's given a testimony or somebody's being recorded in the minutes, that's a real deal. Especially when it's audio and video. That's testimony.
Maybe that would be a good forthcoming plan for Mr. Lopresti to not take our word for it, but to ask these critical questions of our elected officials so that he can get it from the horse's mouth.
Very true. Very true. And we can also point him in the...
Well, yeah.
I've got a whole list of issues that happened during the minutes. It's a whole big log. It's like 3 different pamphlets.
That's the problem too, is we'll never get anything done trying to address them all at once. We got to hit them single file one at a time.
One at a time.
And make them answer and then go to another one.
Yes.
Otherwise they just dodge it, Kevin.
Oh, man. Yeah, talk about deflection. So holding them accountable, we got our work cut out for us. I don't know what's going on with this clinic thing over here either. That's a whole nother thing.
Well, that's it. It's the damn web is so big. Once a guy gets kind of caught in it and then still trying to maintain money.
Well, no, you'd have to not have to work. There'd be a full-time job.
And that's the whole thing about the Democrats, right? They have a way of getting that money. It's funny how most attorneys are Democrats. Most all of this, the lobbyists, the politicians, a lot of that all are, they're in them money trails, in that money stream where they don't have to go labor.
When you're a bartender 1 minute, right, and couldn't afford to rent anything for a house because you just become a congressperson, then you end up with $20 million in a couple years. Hello. That's the money stream, baby.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that if we're not looking at that properly, if we're dismissing that as not a gross, it's an extremely gross flirting with a lot of evil when somebody acquires that much money in that short a time. What did they do?
Yeah.
And what did they do to us? Did they sell us out? Did they mortgage us?
Sold herself.
Sold herself, but they sold us because we're the ones flipping the bill. Yep, they compromised us. They wasted our, and that's
for
what
the
Trump,
111th time, right? That's the
absolutely.
people over here that are willing to compromise theirself and us, just because so they can get money.
Yeah. Yep. Well, anyways, I think I'm gonna have to get my happy hiney home.
Yeah, we're about normal time here, hour and 15, hour and 12.
Good deal.
Yeah, you got to go milking or?
Nope, I'm only milking in the morning. Milking once a day. I'm not doing it. You can't make me. Not gonna do it. I'm gonna dry them cows up. I'm not gonna dry them up, but I'm not. That's 16 gallons a day. There ain't enough jar or refrigerator for that.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's a lot of cheese and it's a lot of butter. But when you got to go to work to pay the bills and buy the feed for the cattle,
yeah,
goodness gracious.
Yeah, like I was saying last week, folks, the jars alone for the whole that much milk are like $150 a day.
It's a bunch.
And everybody thinks milk's just like, I don't know, they take it for granted, I guess.
Well, I had a little Amish gal call me today, and their cow dried up, and she said, "Hey, I heard you got a cow that's fresh," and they were helping out some folks, because they had an abundance of milk. And she said, "Well, we've got some other folks that would be interested too." So that was kind of good news today.
The people are out there. It's just,
and it's the same thing that happened 15 years ago when I was doing this. The Amish were the only folks that really got involved in it. They cannot hardly go to that store and buy milk. Once you've had stuff, and you're feeding it to your cat and dog, of course. Once you've had some good stuff, you don't want any of the bad stuff. You just don't. And especially with our food system nowadays, that's another opportunity that we need to be looking at here as a community.
That's the way I am with the water.
Oh,
I messed around and I had to drink tea this morning from town water. I'm like, golly.
well, that's what I'm saying.
I almost went without, but
We live in a contrastual world. And I born in 1962, and I've watched this thing, and my uncles were very aware of what was going on, hugely aware of what was happening, and I really devalued that. But I thank them because they taught me how to do carpentry, and that means build a house from ground up with nobody. That means a carpenter. That means you don't need anybody. You do the whole thing from the dirt up, period. And then how to milk cows and make cheese and butter and how to be a mechanic, how to work on things. Yeah, it's a big deal. That's huge. And how to butcher something.
resilience.
Resilience, independence.
Yeah.
And they built that in. Everybody else was out playing. I was working.
Same here.
And I'm not going to give up that lightly. My independence is not going to be taken over by other people's.
You can't take it from me.
You're not.
Let's go to the grave.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are you ready to die?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we want people to get a higher expectation of Custer County in ethics. Just ethics alone. And people go, what's ethics? Well, there you go. That's what needs to be taught in the schools.
Yeah. If
And people know what ethics are, but you could put it in word form. You put it in word form, now you have instruction. And God says instruction is your life. Instruction is your life. It's not how you feel or how somebody feels about you or what somebody else thinks about you. Instruction is your life, period. And that's where we're losing it. We're losing it because we're not being instructed correctly. And taking the Bible and throwing it in a garbage can, that's what's got us here. Because a free country has got to have some kind of moral code. It has to be self-governing from the inside out.
yeah.
The
No,
government is outside in.
Everybody's got to do it for themselves. That's what we've been saying all along, folks. You got to find it within. Otherwise, you ain't going to find it, right? You can't look at your neighbor and say, well, I'm going to do what the Joneses do, because that ain't going to get you in the day of judgment. That's not going to get you where you want to go. So with all that being said, I guess one more thing, Mr. Van Dorn from the Wet Mountain Valley Outdoors, I talked with him this evening. We've been trying to make communication with him for a pretty good little amount of time here, but he's been more than gracious to come on the podcast and explain his position with us. So we're happy to have him on. I don't know if we'll get him on next week, but keep an eye out for our newsletter, our emails to see when he'll come on. There's a very good possibility we can get him next week. We'll just have to see. So
Yeah, and I think the grand finale is in January.
I believe so.
I think that the Wet Mountain Outdoor thing is the grand finale. Is they've already let us down this whatever. I don't want to.
He was talking about getting money in July is when they would actually get money to start spending on projects.
But their grant writing has to fit this little deal. So that's where it's going to be taken off. They'll have what they're going to be put in grant form, I believe, in January when they purify the form.
That's something that we need to keep track of. And I mean, it's just like a football play, right? It's you think you know what's going on from the chair, and you can see, and maybe you know some of what's going on, but what every person's doing. One guy's blocking this way, one guy's pulling this way and blocking this guy, and
this guy's going for a pass, and this guy's might get a handoff.
It's in a lot of deception, right? I mean, that's what,
absolutely
that's what makes it. It is what it is. You're trying to confuse.
And look at it as a game. Don't take life so damn serious that you can't breathe over it or laugh about it. Because at the end of the day, you damn right it counts. You dang right, every bit of it counts. You don't want darkness to encroach on you, and you want to keep it pushed out. You want to keep a standard of behavior. And as it comes in, you have to be able to adapt. You have to. You got to be able to think on your feet. You got to be able to call it audible. You got to go, wait a minute. I'm seeing something
Switch
different.
Switch to play.
Yep.
The defense is going to rush.
Yeah, they're up close.
Linebackers rushing.
Yep. So at the end of the day, we do need to laugh because goodness gracious, we're here. We're conscious individuals.
Yeah, that's
what a huge thing that is, just being a conscious individual.
old friend of mine. He always said, if you ain't laughing, you ain't in the right state of mind.
Absolutely. And we don't not we need we
Even
don't
if it's painful.
even if it's painful. You're right. And I'm going to absolutely. Yeah. So we need to get into the battle, folks. So if you're retired and you got time, or if you're not retired but you do have a little bit of time, please get involved. If you're concerned about where your local community is going, your voice needs to be heard. You need to stand up. You got to get involved. You got to go to the commissioner meetings. You got to write letters to the governor. You got to write your congressman,
Be honest
your
with
senator.
be honest with yourself too, because that's one of the main faults of the human behavior is you think that you know. Oh well, I know what, because you watch CNN.
No, you got to question everything,
Yeah, you're gonna
even yourself.
You're willing to stake your life in an argument against somebody because something you've seen on national media. I mean, that's the danger, and that's the honoriness of the human behavior is people are so convicted, but yet their information was false.
Fully persuaded by a lie.
Ouch. That
That
hurt.
You know what I mean?
That hurt.
And instead of being liberated by the truth. And that's where we're at. A lot of folks are just going to bite on it, and that's where they're going.
Very well said.
So, right on.
With that, folks, have a good evening. See you
Mikey,
next week.
Mikey, thanks again, buddy. Appreciate your time. Oh.